President.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. This is the September 11th Board of Adjustment, and we'll call the meeting to order. And let me go over a few key things we have to address at the beginning, starting with the roll call. Mr. Davis? Here. Mr. Golden? Here. Mr. Metcalf? He was here. Okay, we'll go back to Mr. Metcalf. Mr. Milling? Here. Mr. Carroll? Here. Mr. Morris? Here. And we have a new supernumerary serving, Mr. Addison?
Here.
Atchison. And I know Mr. Metcalf is here, he stepped out. So, and I'm William Guess. That we have all 7 members plus our supernumerary here today. And with that, we have a quorum, so therefore we can continue with the meeting. It takes 5 to affirm a motion, either in support or opposition. With that, we'll have the necessary members to vote for a particular application request or variance request. Let's start with approval of the agenda. Chair, entertain a motion.
So moved.
Have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. All those in favor of the motion? Aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. All right, we have quite a lengthy agenda today, and a couple of these, we have a large attendance in the audience to speak either in favor or opposition. So as chair, I have the option of calling those particular cases or variance requests out of order. So we're going to start with number 4. So if the applicant for number 4, which is 002576, case or application 6532, will the applicant come to the podium? Okay, now I should go over the rules before I continue. I forgot to cover that as well. We're kind of out of sync in here. This is not our normal setup. For each application, the applicant will give their name and address and their reason for the application or the variance request. The applicant can have, or we can have 4 people to speak in favor of an application and 4 in opposition. And you have a time limit of 5 minutes for each speaker. So I ask, especially those that are here for a large interest in a particular application, that you pick your best 4 so that we don't have to have a disturbance in the meeting with that. And one other thing I failed to mention is that please turn your cell phones on silent or vibrate so that we don't have an interruption during the meeting. All right, your name and address, please.
My name is Valerie White. My husband's name is Mike. We're at 331 Hadrian Street, and that's Mobile 366.
Yeah, get a little closer to the mic if we can.
All right, we're at 331 Hadrian Street, and that's Mobile 36606.
Okay, and you're asking for variance to allow a commercial food truck, commissary, and a food truck to be parked in R1, single-family residential suburban. And with UDC, it's not normally allowed. And will you tell the board why we should consider your application?
Our consideration is we're asking for, this commissary is not a restaurant. It is not where people are coming to eat. This is to support for storage and for refrigeration for our food truck to be on location. And we have a utility room that is big enough to support that for storage as well as meeting all health department standards. I have also sent my information to the health department, and I've been talking back and forth with them, and you know, it's to where we can support our business while being on location on the Gulf Coast.
Okay. Do we have questions of any of the board members for the applicant?
Yes, I do. Where particularly you plan on parking the vehicle?
The food truck will be parked. We have a complete drive around our property, and it's going to be on the, I don't, go ahead.
It'll be on the back side by the utility.
right next to, it's a gate right next to the utility room. It's gonna be parked inside of there.
Is that property fenced in?
It is walled in.
So if the vehicle is parked on the property, could anyone see it from the street or anywhere?
Yes.
How tall is your fence?
4 feet.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, do I have any additional questions on the board?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. Help me to understand now, you will not be doing business out of your truck there? You're just there for parking and all of your supplies are in the back in the utility room? Where you will be doing business, is that gonna be somewhere else or people will be able to come there?
So we will, what a commissary is, it is where you prep or you store refrigeration or freezer products like that to load on the truck, and you have to have a storage space, refrigeration to take those products off. So we will be on location, which we have various locations where we're gonna be located, and we'll do the cooking, all of that there. And this commissary is going to be for storage to support the food truck.
Thank you.
Okay, when you say prep, describe for the board what you mean by prep.
As far as like, maybe, chopping tomatoes, lettuce, pickles, getting the buns ready, packaged up, getting everything portioned and ready to go, make sure everything is within the ounces that we have specified. Everything is set up before we get on the truck, because we have, very, very tight food costs.
How is the food delivered or your supplies? Is it by semi-truck, box truck?
My street doesn't support that. So we will be going to like Sam's or Costco, buying, our items. And then we're gonna use the local food markets, like the, local, farmer's market. That's what we're gonna use, because we want to do the farm to table.
Okay. Any other questions of the board for the applicant? All right. If you'll have a seat, do we have anyone in the audience that's in support of the application that would like to speak at this time? Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And you're in support?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Your name and address, please.
My name is Will Hughes. My address is 1617 Fifth Street in Daphne. I was gonna reiterate what they said and answer any questions you guys might have. I had a commissary set up exactly the way they want to do it over in Spanish Fort, and it worked out great. The health inspector would come and inspect the food truck as well as the commissary, so both were covered. And as far as if you had any questions such as hand washing on the truck, all that water would get disposed of at their house where their mop sink would be located, and there wouldn't be any issues with that. It worked out great. Like they said, they're not going to be selling food out of their house. It's basically just for storage and to pack, clean, and then move the food to their location they're going to serve it.
Okay. Any questions of the board? All right, thanks, sir. Do we have anyone else in favor of the application? All right. Anyone in opposition that would like to speak today? And we have comments that we received in writing that we'll discuss here shortly. Your name and address, please.
My name is Billy Blackwell. I live at 2901 Grant Street. And as you said, y'all have received the comments, so I'm not going to reiterate anything like that. I just want you to know that ours is a residential area, and I would like for it to stay that way. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Anyone else in the audience that would like to speak in opposition? Yes, sir, your name and address.
Yes, sir. My name is Frank Mitchell. My address is the same, 2901 Grant Street. It's the condominiums across the street. I'm just concerned about additional traffic coming in and out, what it might do to our property taxes when it's rezoned. Also, just in general, what would be going on in there. And like I said, I just
I
oppose
think to
anything.
clarify, that we're not rezoning, we're just giving a variance for the use.
That's correct.
But I am more concerned about if this one is passed, then other people might take the advantage of this and ask for additional requests and zoning issues. So I'm more concerned about property values going down. But I'm all in favor of small business. I support small business, but I just don't want this in a residential area. She has other commissaries in the area that she could possibly join in with, pay rent to. Doesn't necessarily need to be in a residential area.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any questions of the board? Thank you. All right. Once again, any other individuals in the audience who'd like to speak in opposition? Okay. We have public comments that were sent in. If the board will look at their packs. I think we've got a few in opposition that were received. All right, the applicant, do you have anything you wish to add in rebuttal before we conclude our public hearing? Yes. Yes, please.
We have a question on the submitted plan page. There's a appliance for cooking.
So you have an appliance for cooking in your plan page? So are you changing that? Or are you going to continue to cook in your prep?
So what are you asking specifically?
I'm asking, are you going to have an appliance for cooking in your accessory structure?
Yes,
Okay, that's what we wanted to know.
yes.
Because that would call for full plan submissions and fire separation from your residence.
Okay, to address fire code comments, what kind of appliance?
So an oven, we will have a 3-bay sink, an oven, a refrigerator and a freezer, and hand washing sinks in the storage area.
Okay,
That's all I need. Our food truck has everything else on it to support it.
okay, because initially you stated you were doing prep, like cutting things. I don't remember.
Yeah, in in our drawing, we do have the drawing where it shows like what we plan on doing as far as, because we have to have certain things for the health department to come in based on the menu items. And so with us only doing like certain things that we have supported on the truck, that's the minimum things that we'll have to have in order for the health department to pass, to pass health and department inspection. So I do want to reiterate, so we're not having traffic. It's not going to bring traffic into the neighborhood. Our products that we have, like this truck we'll go out, just like we would grocery shop for our home, we would go grocery shop for the business, bring the supplies in and put it in the storage, and then our food truck will be on location. We will not be there to be serving the public at all. No one will come to our home, no one will come knock on our door, but we have the utility room that can support this business, and I hope that you could approve that.
Do you, will the health department require a dumpster on site?
A dumpster?
Yeah.
They do not. So I do have to go through the garbage to get a separate garbage can, which is kind of like a standard garbage can for my home, but it has to be a one that's going to be on the utility room side, separate from that. So it's almost like a standard garbage can. So they said that, I could go with one or I can do two.
Okay. All right. Once again, any questions of the board? Mr. Davis?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, thank you very much. May I ask the fire department, is that there? Okay. Help me to understand about these appliances that we're talking about. Are they on the unit itself, or are they in your home? Because of the concern that came from the fire department, I'm kind of perplexed if the Board of Health has cleared you on usage and have the understanding that you are explaining to us. So, ma'am, what your question, was it applicable to the unit or to the home?
It's to the unit. Her accessory building that she's planning on using, she has a floor plan that has a stove, not an oven, a stove. And she said she was going to be just doing prep. And whenever she described her prep, she described it as chopping tomatoes and dicing or slicing, and then lettuce and such. But she had submitted a plan with appliances for cooking. And so for fire code, especially with commercial cooking, the level of grease emissions have to be controlled and regulated through a fire extinguishing system. And so that's the thing that I was making sure I wanted to see. Is she going to actually have a stove in there or not? Because if she has a stove, not only is she going to have an extinguishment system, but she's going to have fire separation in the roof that joins the two buildings together.
Okay,
So can I say one
you understand
thing?
what she's saying?
Yes, I spoke with the health department concerning that, and as far as when I submitted what my menu was, what I was going to do, so I'm not having a fryer, so I don't have to have the Angel system, which I have on the food truck. The hood vent, yes, because of having the, a stove there because of ventilation. That's the only appliance that we're gonna, have as far as the refrigerator, freezer, and the stove. And then 3-bay sink and 2 hand washing stations.
So a Ansel system is required of any type 1 hood, and that does not just mitigate a fryer only. Any type of cooking that releases grease vapors will require a hood system. And it wouldn't be something determined by the health department. That would be determined by mechanical and fire.
And if we have to have that, we'll have to have it. I mean, I've submitted, everything that, I've been in the restaurant industry since, I've been managing restaurants for about 13, 14 years. I'm familiar with the health department, the certification on your fire system, the Angel systems, getting it inspected. I'm familiar with that, and so I know, that I have to abide, and I'm in constant communication with the health department on every process from walking through this. And so I'm not gonna do anything that I can't get, because we have, like all of this is a lot of time and a lot of money. And so, we wanna make sure that we adhere to the city and the health department standards.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes,
Just point of order. These are really not issues that we're concerned with.
correct.
So,
She
should we move it
understands that
forward?
she'll be subject to the city ordinances.
Yes, I am.
Thank you, Mr. Metcalf. All right, I think that concludes our public hearing on this application. As noted, we've got several that have either in person or in writing have written in opposition. And we have some code issues that would have to be resolved to make sure that that's compliant if the application would be considered. I know that it's probably been 6, maybe 8 months since we had a similar one where somebody was doing prep for cheese and some trays and things like that we considered, and that was, that one was denied at the time,
That's correct,
because it was in residential, very similar.
correct.
All right, so as I stated, this concludes the public hearing on this application. Chair will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, a question for staff. Under the code, is just parking that truck there not allowed?
You have 2 issues at hand. One is the use.
Okay.
It does not comply with the home occupation standards. The other is the parking of the commercial vehicle and it exceeding the allowance in an R1 district.
What allowance?
Maximum weight.
Wait, okay. That's what I need to know. Thank you.
Okay.
What's the staff, did you say it exceeds maximum allowance of weight?
Bert,
It's 14,500 gross vehicle weight rating, so it's 14,500 pound capacity to carry anything to.
Hey, Miss, we've already concluded the public hearing. I can't have additional statements. All right, any other questions of the board? As stated by the applicant there, and by some, I think, of the individuals that were willing to speak in opposition. There may be areas in which shared space could be utilized for maybe the commissary aspect. I know that we've allowed commercial trucks in some other areas, storage-wise, but not necessarily for prep and all the other that's being asked for at this time. But once again, I'll chair entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to deny the application. I don't think it's appropriate for the neighborhood, and I think we've had other applications that are similar to this that I just feel like it's a slippery slope of the commercial encroaching into a residential neighborhood, and also believe it's going to be hard to police. So I make a motion to deny.
Motion to deny, do I have a second?
Second.
Have a second? All those in favor of the motion say
Not
aye.
ready, not ready, Mr. Chairman.
Yes?
The criteria that was outlined by staff as far as the weight is concerned. And there was another criteria you mentioned.
We have two issues at play in terms of the zoning ordinance, Unified Development Code. One is the use. Is there a hardship associated with the property that keeps it from being used as it is zoned? It's my understanding they live there. It's being used as it is zoned. The parking standards in Article 3, the maximum weight of a vehicle in a residential district is 14,500 pounds. This vehicle exceeds that when stocked